this year with a speaker series that hope to bring in inspirational sailors who've done amazing, cool things and to share their stories. So with us tonight, and I will bet everything I have on this, that we all think we're pretty good sailors. Like, everybody's a champion here, right? But there's not a single person in this room that is better and faster and smarter than this sailor, right? I'll challenge you. So that's a big thing. So with us tonight, Francesca Clapcich, come on up.
Hello. That was a
you got a
massive overstatement.
Massive. All right, we'll get to that. So before we get to it, we're going to show a quick video because Francesca literally just landed at the airport maybe an hour and a half ago. Sandra picked her up, got her here safely, and this. Well, yeah, we'll see up a video while we're doing
That's not me. I'm not.
Are you racing cattle?
No, that's not my job.
Yeah. She's also a veterinarian, and
My secret life.
yeah.
Kind of cute. The mini horses.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You do live in Salt Lake, but we're not gonna get there yet.
Yeah. Not with a mini horse yet.
Okay, so what we're going to tee up here is while they're dealing with the AV, Kyle, AV, that's not your job? No, anyway. Yeah. So, straight from Barcelona with American Magic, but before she got there, she was in France sailing 50-foot trimarans called Ocean 50s, right? We don't actually know anything about these in this country, but they are pretty wicked cool. But you're learning.
I'm just learning.
So, she's literally straight off the plane here and going to tell some stories. We're going to talk about her life in the Olympics, the America's Cup coming up, and 2 around the world laps, and a whole bunch of stuff in between. So please pull up a drink and hear more about Francesca's life. She's amazing. All right, take a seat. I'll see if I can help these guys.
This is quite of a...
There you go. So it should be on the Finder. Just double click that.
Just that right there?
Yep, double click that file.
It's like
There you go.
the queen seat.
All right, there you go. All right, so this is raw video. It's never been edited. I have no idea what we're going to see.
You know what?
But this is the sense.
I have no idea neither.
All right, let's take
I
a seat.
didn't see it before.
So tell us what we're looking at.
Okay. So this was the first act of the Ocean 50 series. So these are trimarans, pretty much 15 meters by 15 meters. They're square trimarans. And the event is normally 4 days. And we're doing 2 days of windward, leeward with 5 crew on board. And then the last 2 days is either 2 coastal events with 3 people on board or 1 longer offshore. So we go for at least an overnight, but with only 3 crew members on board. So this was literally 5 days ago in San Malo. So I like shoes, yes. You have to keep some styles when sailing, right?
Oh, you are Italian after all.
After all, yes. Yeah.
So explain a little bit. So it looks like the crew on this boat, you look like is all female. What's going on there?
Yeah, so the goal with this project that is supported by 11 Hour Racing, it's in collaboration with Mer Concept. So Mer Concept is a boat yard management services in Brittany, in France. They're definitely specialized in multi-hulls. They have Ultimes where Francois Gabard is sailing on it, and pretty.
Perfect. Well, we can leave it there. Because I was like, oh, this is a good place to cut it, because that to me is the typical Francesca look right there. Like, you are just always locked in. And
yeah.
I'm sure this is not like the first time you've been locked in, right?
No. But I'm pretty nice with the crew. I never scream or anything to anybody. Just
you can pause it, Walter.
Try to really focus just on going fast, and yeah, we are all learning. So it's a new team. It's the goal is to bring more women in the industry, especially in the multi-hull. I'm the first female skipper in the history of the Ocean 50, and they've been around for 25 years. So it's it's quite crazy to think about it, right? Like, it's kind of about time. So that was the goal of the project. And at the same time, there's never been a female in the Jules Verne attempt, the world record with the trimaran. So this is quite of a pathway for, especially for female sailors, to get into multi-hulls that are quite different and complicated, and then just learn how the platform work and get into the ultimes that are the 100-footer trimarans that goes around the world and try to set the records. So actually, Merconcept with the ultime will have a female on board for their attempts on the world record, and Alexia Barriere is building also a female team to set the world record. So the industry is moving in the right direction, and I think these are just really good steps to get more women in the sport and in a really professional way. You know, we're all getting paid. We have a full project that lasts, for me, at least 2 years now with the Ocean 50, and for other crew members at least for a year. We have technical teams. We have a full management behind, and it's a pretty big deal. You know, it's not just going sailing and try to make a living out of it and struggling to, you know, pay the bills at the end of the month. It's giving real opportunities and making the sport more equitable and not just more equal.
So they're basically, you're running a full pro program, and this is like a top level pathway to the Jules Verne, which is like the holy grail, right? I mean, and people doing these 100 times, that's just nuts. I mean, do you actually see yourself on one of these 100 foiling footers, like alone? There's a point where like, you're crazy, but not that crazy?
I think I'm crazy enough.
Yeah.
It's a cool boat. You're just like foiling around the world, you know? I mean,
oh yeah, just like foiling around the world, no big deal.
It's like, it's pretty cool. But yeah, these boats are quite specific. So we don't have like a proper keel. So the boat can capsize if we messed it up. So it's definitely keep us quite switch on all the time, especially when we're going offshore, because at the end, if you flip over, not only the race is over, but you break the mast, you need a full...
It goes back to port upside down.
Yeah. This is the full recovery system to come. So
it only comes out with a crane.
Yeah. So we have a transatlantic race in August, and that's definitely our kind of goal for the season, and to do well, and knowing where the limit of the boat, because you push it a little too much, and you're just with the mast on the wrong side of the ocean. So that's not bueno most of the time.
No bueno. Where is and these boats, is it finding the limit on the boat, or is it actually finding your own limits in the human limits? You know, because there is a point where the boats, do they tend to sail themselves when they're locked in, or do you really have to pay attention?
I think it's really finding the boat limit. You know, the heel angle, making sure that everything is set up and safe, and have someone on deck all the time taking care of it. You know, the boat, the class is racing at the Jacques Vabre at the Route du Rhum. The Route du Rhum is in solo. So the class is made to also be sailed solo, but it's quite tricky. We have some system on board where like the kite sheet get into a cleat that release automatically with a full system. So when the heel reach like 18 degrees, the cleat open and the kite release. But you know.
You hope.
You hope. Yeah, no, exactly. I mean,
it's supposed to.
It's supposed to open, so you can take a nap, you know.
Yeah.
Because if not, there's not so much rest.
How many other panic buttons are there on the boat? I mean, is there sort of automatic main sheet release? Because there's a lot going on, I imagine.
Yeah, we have a full system. So there is an autopilot that is not just kind of the basic autopilot that we can find in more simple boat. We have a full logic behind it. So we can add overlays on top of the pilot. So it's not just setting up on heading or true wind angle. It's like putting on top like speed overlays if you want to boat to push to certain targets. So it's really performance based, and you need to set up everything. It's just a machine. So if the human being behind it doesn't set it up well, the boat is not driving well. So there is a lot of technology, you know. At the end, trimming the sails is one part of it, and then knowing what's going on everywhere else is the biggest part of it. And that's the cool part about being a big team, where you can really spend a lot of time with the technical team, with experts in each area, learn a lot about each part of the boat, and when you're going offshore, you just feel that you have an overall good understanding of everything. And you can mostly fix everything. Sometimes you cannot, but that's part of a game. But at least you feel that you know the machine that you're sailing on.
For people going into that level of sailing in this class or whatever, even some of the IMOCA stuff, you know, there's this, everybody, all of us have a certain skill set on the boat, or maybe we're good with hydraulics or whatever it is, right. But like, to these boats, what kind of skill sets do you have to come to? If I just rocked up the Mare Concept in France and says, I'm good, I know how to sail, they'd be like, goodbye. I mean, like, you have to have something, you got to bring it to the table, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it really depends on which kind of events you're doing. For example, the first couple of days of each act is windward, leeward courses. So it's pretty much the racing that we're doing even out of our yacht clubs, right? So we have someone doing the bow, someone trimming, someone driving, someone doing more the tactics. It's quite of a big crew. But then that switched pretty quickly when you are short-handed. Even in the coastal or in the offshore, we are only 3 on board. So the same maneuvers that normally we're doing with 5 people, we need to do it with 3. And then, like in the Jacques Vabre, it's double-handed. Double-handed is honestly quite similar to solo sailing, but you have just some nice company.
Yeah.
But you don't see each other so much, you know. That's kind of the goal of it. When someone is resting, the other person is doing the work. But then you also have the route de rame that is solo, so you deal with so many different configurations, and I think the skill set required for each of them is quite different, you know. I will never go around the world by myself without knowing pretty much everything about the boat. Like, it will be quite crazy to do, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I'm happy, even if I don't know everything about the boat and I have another 4 crew members on board, I know that with the skills that we all bring together, we can just make it super safe and nice. So it's really knowing about which kind of events you're doing and which kind of skills you need on the crew, and trust them.
Bring them to the table. So you're the skipper. Technically, you're in charge of this program.
Yeah.
This is a new team. You got one other American, Sarah Stone, who most people probably know from up here, right? She's on the team.
She's from Michigan, actually.
From Michigan, right? Yeah. For those here in the room, myself, you know, we switch team to team. We build new teams, and you've been part of a lot of new teams. You know, do you what's some good advice or some things you've learned along the way to get a team to be good and fast sooner than later? You know what I mean? Like, just.
Yeah, it's a great question, because, you know, for me, like, this role of like leadership and being the skipper is quite new. I always been part of the team, but not maybe leading it. And this for me is definitely a new game. But it's really about like creating a community where everybody in the team feels that they belong to the team. They feel safe. They feel that no matter the question that they ask, you will always have an answer, and if we don't get an answer, we will find an answer together. And I think that's the biggest part of it, is where people feel that they can grow in the team without feeling like judged, or, you know, oh, maybe I'm not gonna ask because it's a stupid question. I was like, there's never a stupid question. There might be some stupid answers, but there's never a stupid question. And when you're able to build that kind of team or kind of community where everybody feel like, yeah, I'm part of it, I'm bringing like a certain amount of skills, I might be still missing some skills, but I'm actually part of an environment where I can learn what I don't know. I think it's a super positive way to build a team, you know. And for me, it's a lot of trust. Yes, I'm the skipper, I'm the one probably in charge if something goes really bad, so that's the downside of it. But at the same time, when we're racing, we're all equal on the boat, and each of us has a role that is really specific, and if we are able to work together really well, then the result will come. So there is not really massive, hierarchy, like I'm the skipper, I'm just gonna make the calls. It's like someone else can make the calls, and if it's the right call, we're just gonna do it.
Yeah. But when you get into bad situations, there does come time where the responsibility is all on you. I mean, when you think about that, when you go into these pretty crazy programs, how do you kind of think that through?
Yeah, it's a lot about preparation. You never go into this kind of project without really knowing what like the protocols are, what like the if scenario, and that for me it builds a lot of it builds quite a lot of confidence. We know what we have to do if things are going bad, and we have a team behind where we have a full crisis plan build. Is like a big package of papers where each of us know exactly what's going to happen ashore, what's going to happen on the boat, and yes, at the end it's my call. And I'm a point in my career where I feel pretty comfortable if I have to make that calls, and I hope the team around me feels that I'm experienced enough and like focused enough that the call will be the right one. And at the end, it's trust in it, because when things goes bad, you can't have 5 voices. You need to have one directing everybody and just getting out of the situation as quick and as safe as possible.
That's probably something you learned in the military, right? Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So on the useful point of view, I mean,
but I was not in charge in the military.
The other side of racing, right? The debrief, we like to call it here. We all do it. Some debriefs go better than others, and that is like where the hard stuff has to be put out there, right? And some people, a lot of teams can't progress because they can't have the proper debrief. And so in the teams that you've been involved with, how do you conduct a good debrief that gets you to the next level, the next morning?
First, we have a lot of smart people around us. So they were able to give us a lot of data, a lot of feedbacks that are tangible and real, and it comes from like numbers, and they're not just, supposition. Oh, we were a bit slow there, but we don't know really what's happening. And so for me, that always bring a lot of like reality into the debrief. We like, this is what happened, this is what can we do to get better, these are the next steps, and it's all like data based, number based, and it's really real. And then at the same time, it's also like taking responsibility for what we're doing on board without really pointing fingers. We're working together. It's always so easy to scream at the person that is doing the pit, or it's so easy to always
Give it up to the pit people. Who's the pit people that?
Come on. Or screaming to the bow because things are not happening, but at the end, there's no reason for it, and it will just stress the situation out, stress people out, not really get anything out of them and anything better out of them. So it's really just getting together and be like, this is what we did as a group, what can we do better all together, and sort it out. And some debriefs are longer, some are shorter, but it's a different story.
But the moral of the story, yelling is not fast.
No,
never fast. All right, so no yelling this weekend. I don't want to hear it at the marks, all right?
I'm not a yeller.
All right, so before we move on from the 50s, it's a very French thing. Is there a way to follow your team, what you're doing, or do I have to go learn French? Or how do we follow your journey?
I'm trying to learn French. He's getting.
Is that your 4th language?
Yeah.
5th? Yeah. Pretty impressive.
It's getting okay. I can understand, so I can definitely steal what they are saying, but answer back is hard. Definitely on the social media, we're trying to update the fans and followers as much as we can. The event is not broadcasted the same as the ocean race or the cup, so there's not that level of broadcasting, but I know they are putting a lot of daily videos on the media.
So what's it? Is it Facebook?
Yeah, I think it's Instagram, Facebook. Each event has like a website, so you can go and check it out.
Cool.
It's quite exciting when it's windy. The boat like rip around, and it's pretty cool to watch.
That sounds to be a fun ride. So if any one of us wanted to like, if you need a crew or want to come for a ride, like how do we find you? Yeah.
There is a massive guest program actually, because the boat is quite easy to. It's quite easy to deal with people on board because of the trampoline. It's quite safe. It's a different experience than like the IMOCA, for example, where it's really, really hard to have extra people on board. So the guest experience is quite cool, honestly.
How do we get one?
Just let me know.
Somebody in here, like make a donation.
If you are in France and you want to go for a ride, just let me know. There's no donation needed. Yeah. Just a good time.
All right, be in France, call her up, you get a ride.
You don't need to speak French. That's fine.
Come find her. So you've just been invited to go ride on a cool 50-footer. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so you came from Barcelona, which means that as most people in here probably know, the big event is America's Cup, which kicks off in August.
There's the jacket.
Yeah, you just got the jacket over there.
The jacket.
So are you with the American Magic team or
Yes.
So you're part of the women.
The women.
How do you pronounce it? Is it Puig or who's the sponsor?
Puig?
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 No
idea.
Yeah, the Puig. Let's just go.
The Puig? Weird. No idea.
Well, when you find out, let me know.
Or if you find out, let me know.
Okay,
because maybe that's.
So we're just going to call the Puig for now.
Yes.
The Puig Women's America's Cup in the AC40s, which are sailing one design trim. So how much time have you actually sailed an AC40?
Not so much time yet. So the sailing session will start in 2 weeks in Barcelona. Actually, we will be in Badalona. That's a bit farther north. We've been doing a lot of simulator sessions that replicates completely the boat and replicates completely the cockpit and all the setups. And we also, of course, have the opportunity to have all the feedbacks from the Cup team. They used the 4 days. One of the boats was definitely not in one design mode, so we might not learn so much from that, but the other boat was pretty much sailing all the time in one design. So we have a lot of data coming from the Cup teams that for us is super beneficial. And just looking forward to go sailing. Honestly, it's gonna be, it's a challenging boat. Definitely, like you sail around pretty fast. The boat is it's quite complicated. It's actually not.
How is it complicated? Because it looks to me like they're just driving the video game from inside the boat, being like, press a couple buttons, boat turns, all good.
There is a system on board that you can turn on and off. It's called like autopilot, but it's not the autopilot of like offshore sailing. It's controlling the flight. So you're still hand steering, but the balance between like the flaps and the flying has a like logic behind the control it more. So you don't have to be all the time on manual controlling some dynamics of the boat. In super light wind, you can turn it off and you can manually deal with everything. It's definitely better for performance and for taking off earlier. But in like medium range wind, you can just turn it on, and especially starboard port configuration gets set up pretty quickly from the autopilot. The boating like is not that hard. like it's it's literally like a wheel and 6 buttons on each side of the driver and like another 8 buttons for the trimmer. So that's kind of like what you have to deal with. But of course, it's quite easy to make bad maneuvers. We all see these crazy videos from Kiwis, etc. Pitch poling, capsizing. So that's quite easy things to do, and definitely want to avoid that. So
I love it. You just gave me a good. It's like this is wisdom. Like all these like tough guys, these old America's veterans, they think like, oh, this is so cool and badass. Look at me, but you're just saying it's not that hard.
Well, it's different boats.
They're just making it sound hard to look cooler.
Yeah,
is that
when
right?
when you look at the big boats now and what they have to deal on board, it's sometimes it looks like complicated. It has a cockpit of a 747. So it's not that easy to control the flight on the big beast.
But the 40s are no big deal.
But definitely the 40 has a different logic behind it. It makes it a little easier, and I think it's the purpose of the class. There are some teams that don't have a cup team behind. They are just invited teams, and they will have literally 2 days of sailing on the boats before the start of the event.
That's
so you
crazy.
need to make the option to train on the simulator or jump on a boat and be like, okay, I can actually deal with this because it's the same.
That is insane, though, to be like, okay, I'm good on the simulator. I've been playing this at my kitchen table, and all of a sudden you're in an AC40 racing against 6 teams, like, protest,
It's gonna be loose.
Yeah, loose. So actually, it could be more entertaining than the America's Cup itself, potentially.
It might be.
Yeah, it might be. So when you're racing on the boats in autopilot mode, or do you have to take them out of that? Like, do you really have to sail them? So you're basically...
I mean, it's really like, if you have to take off in like really light wind, everything's gonna be manual, because it's not gonna work.
You got to force
really
it.
well.
Somebody's got to go hang out at the end of the foil and rock the boat, pump the boat. Yeah.
The leeward driver goes on windward
Yeah.
and just hang there.
It hangs out on the foil.
Yes.
Oh, so they're not just doing that for fun. There's a purpose.
Yes.
There's a purpose.
Maybe for fun too. But there's definitely a purpose.
So if all of a sudden there's the autopilot does something weird while you're racing, can you get redress, or they're just like, well, too bad?
I might ask. I'm
You
gonna
might want
ask,
to check the SIs.
I'm gonna ask that, and I'm gonna ask how to pronounce Puig. I take a note.
So if you can, because I don't know if you're on a non-disclosure agreement with the team or whatever else, but like,
We do, but-
so you've seen what's been happening over in Barcelona with the new boats. What is there anything you're just like, holy smokes, that's cool? I mean, what you've seen of the fleet so far, and then a loaded question: who's got the faster boat? We're not recording this yet. We can cut this one out. Yeah.
I mean, there are definitely a few teams that look fast. I mean, the American Magic definitely, I think the boat looked pretty sick, and Luna Rossa looks pretty good out there. It's not a secret. Everybody's already sailing, so there is like an open recon. So it's not that everything is a secret. What is inside the base? Yes, it's not. There is no recon for that.
Have you been able to poke around what's inside any of the boats?
Yeah,
Do you kind of know what's in there?
We are integrated in the base in Barcelona, so we are helping. Even like a couple of days ago, the team came back from the water really, really late, and they were not going to sail for the next 3 days. So the boat has to be completely cleaned up, taken apart, and we help with that. And you're inside the boat helping and unscrewing things, taking things off, and it's a great opportunity. It's never been done before like this, and both the youth team and the women team are getting more integrated in the operation of the cup team, and it makes the whole thing growing. We're not there yet. We're not having the same exact opportunities, but at the end of the day, in a couple of weeks, we get the keys of the toys, and we go out in Badalona and rip around, and they're not like, it's gonna be 4 women on a boat using the toy, and allowed to break it, allowed to go back and understand why we break it, fix it, and going back at it. And until a couple of years ago, that opportunity were just given to guys.
Yeah.
So for me, it is changing, and it's a good time to be a sailor right now and having these opportunities. Because if I was a bit older, or I would probably not having this option right now.
I know it's insane how many cool things you are doing right now, but
Yes.
what you've accomplished, and we haven't even gotten there yet. So, but that is the segue of sort of like, let's go back in time, right, to where you are today. For those who don't know you, and obviously our friends from Quantum had a question of like, why did you choose sailing, or or were you just the parents put you in class? What got you into sailing in the first place?
Well, my family had a sailing boat, so we were spending just the summers on a boat in the club and going sailing, but it was definitely not my first love. I loved skiing so much, and I was just skiing. I want to be a ski racer. That was my dream. I was watching the Olympics in the TV, and for me, it was like, I want to go to the Olympics, but as a skier. And then, I was living on the water. The mountains were really far away. In the weekends, all these kids were just kicking our butt really badly because they were just on the skis every single day. And at the end, where I was born, I was able to probably go sailing every day instead. So I definitely had a dream to be an athlete. I grew up with this dream of going to the Olympics and be an athlete and try to live out of sport. And at that point, then I got like, okay, it doesn't really matter the tool that I'm gonna use to do that. So if it's gonna be a sailboat instead of a pair of skis, that's fine. Pretty much same expensive. So my family was like, come on, what about like basketball or?
Yeah.
I'm like, nah.
Yeah, that's sweaty.
Nah. Yeah.
It's funny. I hear that a lot. The sort of the dream to go to Olympics. It's like something that's almost like a throwaway thing, right? When you see Olympic interviews, like I've always wanted to go to the games, or I've always wanted to be an athlete. But like, is there something genetically wired in you, or something your parents said athlete, right? I mean, was there a moment that you said, aha, a kid that you can go back to?
I was pretty young actually, and we were just watching at the TV, and I come up like that to my parents, like, one day I'm gonna be there, and they were like, sure, kid.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna answer? Like, it's but.
Do you remember what you were watching at the time? Like,
it might have been like
skiing.
Track and field. Ski for sure. Every winter it was like running from school to get in time to watch the second match of any World Cup event on Saturday. That was my thing. Like, wow, I need to go home. But no, that was the Summer Olympics, and my parents always supported me. Sometimes I had these crazy ideas, and it was just like, I bet a few moments they were just pretty scared, because there is an easy way to do things where you go to school, you try to be good at school, and then you could take a degree and find the normal job, and life is gonna be great. And I never really craved for that. I was like, okay, which high school I can go that required the minimum effort possible to have decent grades so I can go sailing.
I want to play.
Yeah. And my mom was like, come on, like you can go to like a better school. I'm like, I don't care.
You sound like most college sailors I know anyway, so
like,
you just jived with a lot of people here. Yeah.
But then at the end, like, my mom was a teacher, so she grew up, with a job, with a stable job, and yeah, she was definitely a bit scared of this crazy life, and then I got into good racing, and in Italy, I grew up in Italy, so I was born and grew up in Italy, and we don't really have like fundraising, we don't have sponsor, we don't have like any of that. So if you want to do like an Olympic campaign, you're either wealthy, like by the family, or you get into the armed forces. So I got into the Air Force when I was 18. And that kind of made my mom a bit happier because she's like, it's kind of like a stable job, right? Like if the government pay you like every month, right? I'm like, yes, they do. And that went on for the Olympics in London with the laser, the Olympics in Rio with the 49er. And then I was kind of over it, and I wanted to do something else. So I withdrew from the Air Force. And so my mom freaked out again. Like, you're crazy. What are you doing?
What do you do? Can you say that in Italian? We should be yelling at you on the phone. Francesca, fill in the blank.
Yeah,
do it again.
full name.
But
full
you do
name.
it.
When something is wrong, it's full name. Yes. So yeah, it was a lot of full names in the phone calls. Yes. So yeah, she was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I have this option to go for a trial with this ocean race team, and the Air Force doesn't allow me to do it because it's considered like a professional like opportunity. You can't get paid for anything else." And I was like, "I don't get paid yet. Like, just let me go, and if I get in the team, then okay, we can find And they were just so strict, like, no way. So I was like, okay, then
I'm out of here.
I'm out. But it was pretty much out with nothing else, like, so it was a bit scary, but I was like, no, it's gonna be okay. So then I made the team, and that made it a bit better.
Has your mom come back to be like, Francesca, you were right, I'm sorry? Like, no, she's not out by it.
No, I don't. No.
Yeah, there's probably some ocean race racing. She was like, she had listened to me.
She never said it was right. But that's okay. I understand now. I have a daughter now. And I know she's in a good mood to say that she's right.
So before we got to the Olympics, so you joined the Italian Sailing Federation sailing team at like age 15, 16, something like that?
Yeah, pretty much,
so,
yes.
I mean, at that point, you were already like through your youth, I want to be an athlete kind of mentality. But like, what was your strength as a kid? Because sometimes kids have their thing that make them excel.
I was definitely not the most talented at all. There are some kids in my club that they were just able to like go on the boat, read the wind, the shift. I had no idea. Like, I was not talented at all. But I did work so hard. Like, what I didn't have in talent, I was just putting into like, okay, I need to spend more hours doing it. I need to do this and that. Like, creating kind of my own path. And I think at the end, in the long term, it definitely paid off, A lot of that talented kids right now are not really doing so much because they never really worked on top of that talent. And
are they being overly coached in sort of learning to not make mistakes and learn themselves, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the mindset. I was always kind of the first one to get to the club and rig the boat and the last one to leave. Or sometimes, in the winter, I mean, it's a pretty cold in the North Italy, so it's really cold in the winter. And the club during the week is closed. And I was just getting there with my bike and jump over the fence, rig the boat, call my mom, and tell her like, okay, I'm getting on the water now. If you don't hear from me in 2 hours and a half, call the Coast Guard. And so that
first name, all long name.
Yeah. And then like few weeks later and stuff, one of the club harbor master, whatever, like come to me and like, do you know we have cameras, right? And I'm like, oh, like, just let us know. You don't need to jump the fence, okay? Like, okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. Can I have the keys?
And call your mother.
Yeah, and keep calling your mom. That's a good move. So that was growing up, I was just craving it. I just really wanted to do it, and I think that was probably my biggest strength. Just really wanted to do it, because if I just was following some talent, probably a lot of coaches or others was like, it's not that good.
So that's interesting. So it's not the skill that drove you; it's your desire that kind of has been projecting your path, basically. Yeah. Olympics. I personally feel like nowadays it's getting harder and harder for people to care about the Olympic sailing team, the U.S. sailing team, or just kind of sailing in general as an Olympic sport, right? And I don't think maybe we don't understand the effort and what goes into it. Is that sort of part of the story is not being told, or how can we get people to get more excited about Olympic sailing? And we've got athletes from this part of the world that
I think sometimes, and it happened in Italy too, so I can completely relate with the, maybe issues that U.S. sailing can have here in the U.S., but the Italian Federation was pretty similar in Italy. And I think as a sailing community, we need to be able to like detach the two things. One thing is an association that is trying to run a program, and on the other side there are the athletes. And the work and the commitment and the time that the athletes are put into the sport is incredible. And that has to be rewarded also, like to give them some love back. They are representing the country. They're gonna do everything they can to do the best result for not just themselves, but for the US, And for me, that has to be like unconditional support from the community because it's tough life. Like honestly, when I finished after Rio, I was like, I don't have a life. You know, I don't have anything. I don't have a place to live. I don't have a partner. I don't have like
Money.
friends,
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Nothing. You know, you have nothing. You just gave everything for it. And you know, at the end, it's a tough sport. Like Olympic sport overall is pretty tough. You know, and it's really expensive, and associations and federations also need a lot of support, and it's always really easy to hammer down, you know, what things get done bad or wrong, but at the end there are also a lot of people working behind the scene to get these athletes to perform on the water, you know, to get the maximum amount of funding they can find with the USOPC. Like it's tough work, and most of the community just see the little surface layer, but there's a lot behind it. So just trust the process, support the athletes. They need all the support.
Not just money, but like go like them, follow their story, share the story.
Everything,
right?
you know, everybody has a story.
Yeah.
And like we all probably have, you know, kids or nephews or nieces or whatever, you know, and think about that. Think about like, you know, the kids that you have around can be the athletes of the future. And the same that the athlete need support now, they can be your kid needing support in 10 years. And at the same time, it's like our kids are, each of us has different stories, and this athlete has different stories, you know, and it's storytelling. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
storytelling is a big part of it, you know, that in the US for me right now, it's a crazy moment in life where women's sport is and it's just about storytelling, you know, you tell stories about the women's in the WNBA or in soccer, and you tell them stories, people get passionate about it, get passionate about the sport, and it creates just a massive fan base where then the athletes feel supported and feels that they have a country behind it.
Yeah, it's like an amazing time for women in, I think, all sport.
For
I'm
sport in
definitely,
general,
it's like
yeah.
we're talking about Caitlin Clark to, you know, Cole Brower and to
Yeah,
Kristen
exactly.
Neushower when the women are winning just on their own, just because they're good. And it's been cool. You're sort of, as always, kind of right on the leading edge of it. Again, you're just right place, right time.
Yes.
Yeah. So storytelling. The tattoos tell a story. I'm gonna switch it out to sailing. You've got some here, so I want to hear just the quick story. What's Come on, is it a quick story or is it a long one?
There are a few stories. But actually, this one is a pretty good story because I made it in Miami after one of the World Cup events in Miami with a 49er. And I didn't really realize that the guy that was doing the tattoo was a bit out of it. So when I was there, so to do it, it kind of put me like this. So I was not really aware of what's going on while he was doing it. And then I was like, okay, it's done. So I looked at it, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Wow, that's big.
It's like, that's bad. It was basically a light, bright blue patch without any shape, without anything. I was like, great. Now this thing is gonna be here for my entire life. Great. You know.
Did you FaceTime your mom
No.
on that point? Look what I did.
No.
Francesca.
I was just so what am I doing now? Okay. But the other guy in the studio, the owner, was so ashamed. He was like, oh my God, we're so sorry, whatever. Come back tomorrow, we'll try to fix it. And I was like, I don't think that works. Like, I have more tattoos, I know that work. You can't fix straight away, it's not gonna happen, so you need to wait, okay. And he was like, okay, so come back in a month and we're gonna fix it. I'm like, I'm not gonna be here in a month, where are you gonna be? And actually the World Championship was in Clearwater. So the guy was like, okay, I'm gonna come to Clearwater with my bag and kit and gonna fix it for you.
You were like, do you know who I am?
I'm like, sure, whatever. I was like, look, this day is a medal race, so in the evening after the medal race is gonna be a good time for it, because And he's like, cool.
I'm going to have a few cocktails. I'm going to be ready to fix this thing. Yeah.
So he came to the hotel in Clearwater at the end of the event with his kit, with all the stuff, and tried to fix it. But it's not really allowed to tattoo in hotel rooms. So every time that we were hearing like noise outside, like, you know, like,
turn the TV up. Yeah.
then the noise was going away. Okay, keep going. So yeah, and then he put like some shapes of blacks and stuff, so it's not just a blue patch. So that's the story.
I'll buy that.
You asked.
Yeah.
I have more tattoos.
Yeah, shall we? No,
No.
probably not yet. Maybe another time.
Another time.
Speaking of time, so we're going to real quick because
Yes.
I know you have a dinner and then you got to get home to Salt Lake
Do
City.
we have dinner?
I think we're going to have dinner here at the club,
great.
maybe, yeah. So you're available after dinner. But the ocean race was a long one and you won it. That's pretty amazing. Give it up, yeah? I mean, we talked to Charlie in Annapolis and sadly, there's no book to come out of this. So I'm just telling you guys, somebody's got to write a book about what the amazing thing that you guys, I mean, it is a beautiful story of perseverance and just holy smokes, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah, we could go on for days and days and days, which means you need to write a book or somebody's got to write one. But so to simplify it, but I mean, when you've had enough time to think back, look back, what is that glory moment that you just think about all the time? Your favorite moment of the race, as corny as it sounds.
A bit corny.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely when the team came together, you know, like it's we had a pretty tough start of a race. It's not that we just started winning, you know, straight away, and it was good and bad. It was good because I think it put everybody back with their feet on the ground and be like, it doesn't matter. We have competitors around that are fast, that are good project, that they are racing good, and we need to step up.
Was that the meeting in Itajaí?
Yeah, in Brazil.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That was the Come to Jesus meeting.
The what?
They call it the Come to Jesus meeting.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Jesus, help us win this race, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Charlie, it's funny. Charlie mentioned that as well as the turning point, right? And
Yeah.
it's easy to say, well, let's sit around the table and say, well, we need to fix something. We need to get fast. But I mean, to go from that to that,
Yeah.
with a true heart-to-heart with the team. I mean, what was?
I think it was the feeling of urgency. It was either in that moment or never. You know, like if we didn't want that leg, it was game over. So we knew that it was like either you step up now or that's not going to happen. And then I think it was good just like as a team to bring like different people on board, a bit of a fresh energy, you know. Everybody that was on board for the Southern Ocean leg had a really hard time. And it does sink in, you know, and when you go back to the boat, you still remember how many times you have to fix the mainsails and all this stuff, and it's not great energy. So I think that was a really smart move to just bring, you know, I was home for like a month when they were in the Southern Ocean, you know, and I was craving to just go back on the boat, and the same.
And they were craving to get off of it. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and it was the same for Damien. He was like, "Yeah, I want to go racing," you know. And it takes one or two people with like,
Come on,
let's go, let's do it. Like, gonna win this thing to bring everybody like, sure, this crazy person is telling me that we can win, then sure we can win.
Yeah.
And that was a really big turning moment for the team. And it's in the capacity, you know, in the capacity of Charlie as a skipper to make the right decision in a tough moment, and the capacity of a team all around to just come together and work together.
How many people were on your crew?
On the boat, each leg, it was 4 plus the OBR.
The reporter, yeah. And
Yeah.
the leg we're talking about, we should probably assume nobody knows this. So after the Southern Ocean leg where the boat and people got just beat to shit. There's no other way to put it, really. And so the leg into Newport, obviously that was a big one for Charlie because it's his home thing and yada yada. But so they won the leg, and that was truly at least mathematically and also in the spirit of the race was the turning leg, right?
Yeah, and we just went back into the game, and then the team won the leg in the transatlantic leg. Then we won the leg in Europe, and then maybe not everybody, but most of us know that we had an accident in Den Haag where another.
Were you on the foredeck?
No, I was inside.
You were inside. That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, we had an accident with another boat, and unfortunately, we had a big damage on the boat, and we had to withdraw retire from the leg. And personally, for me, that was really tough because I mean, I've been living in the U.S. for the last 7 years, but I'm originally from Italy, and it was the first time the race was coming into Italy, and I would be the first Italian ever to win the race, male and female, and I was just looking forward, to have that moment in Italy, and we were all like, oh man, the race is over here.
This sucks. Yeah.
That sucks, and we might also lose the race and all that. So it was tough, and again, the team just came back together and be like, okay, we're gonna fix this thing. Not sure how long it's gonna take to get to Genoa in the Mediterranean in the summer, so can't guarantee that you guys will get there in time. We're gonna definitely fix the boat and try to get there. And in the end, we all knew how the story ends, and it was a good story, but it was a lot of up and downs, and I guess it's part of everything, Everything that we do, it's normally up and downs. I don't have so many stories that are just big ups, so it makes it more entertaining.
Yeah, I was in Miami. There was a place recently I saw. It was a neon sign in a sign in a restaurant that was closed that said, "Bad ideas make better stories."
Yes.
And so they I thought it was a good life motto as well. You should tell your mom that. You should write her a note at home.
I think she has a massive list of bad ideas. Now, I'm not sure if I'm ever gonna be old.
Yeah.
The age gap is always the same, so she will always be like. Now she keeps sending me photos of fines, speed, it's like with a car in France.
These are your fines.
My fines. It's like, what are you doing? I'm like,
You're like, I'm paid to go fast.
I'm like,
That's what I do.
I don't like to go slow. So yeah, I keep getting the full name in the phone calls when I get fines at her address.
I hope she's watching this live stream. Maybe, who knows? But
Yeah, she doesn't speak so much English.
Yeah, should be sleeping. So let's stay on the topic of ocean racing, but yes, that would make a great final chapter of the book that you guys sometimes write, or someday. But so there's the big race going off here this summer, the 100th Mac race. You guys go a couple days up to the island. This is like this race here, right? I understand is like the ocean race for Great Lakes sailors, right? It's what you do.
Yeah.
It's what you live for. Come
on, a few years has been a really tough race. So it's like
100 years of doing this thing, right? So the guys got to be doing something right. But so it's a short race. You guys do multi-legs, but can you provide some advice to those doing the race about how to be just fast and efficient for a short amount of time? So these are like your sprint legs, right? And so what works out?
Hyper-caffeinated? Is that a thing?
Plenty of caffeine. That's easy, yeah.
It's an easy one to survive 2 days at sea. Hyper-caffeinated. No, but like, sometimes I think the shortest offshore races are actually harder than the longer one. You never get into a routine. It's always full on. So it's definitely tough when you have 48 hours or that kind of 2-3 days offshore events. It gets really, really tough. So I'm, chapeau, as the French said, because it's a bit the Figaro style that they do in France, where you basically just don't sleep. You don't sleep for 2 days. You maybe take 10 minutes nap here and there when the pilot is doing decently, and then you're just like full on all the time. And it comes from preparation. I think, especially when you have shore racing, you can have a pretty good understanding of what the weather will be. Like we all have these amazing models here in the U.S., especially like high resolution models that gives you a really good idea of what the plan can be. And again, it's about preparation. Like in the shortest offshore that I did, it was almost in the software, put in some little reminders, like notes. Okay, this may be a good moment where I can just go down below, get some food, get coffee, some rest. because then in 30 minutes the wind will shift 10 degrees or whatever. I need to do something. So just preparation, knowing where you can get your rest, and I mean, hammer down.
Yeah, the
I mean,
ping pony's
that's
only a couple
what
days
you
ago,
do.
yeah.
Like, you just push it all the time. Like, it is what it is. There is time to sleep when you get back, you know.
It's time to sleep after the ping pony, right? Is that the idea?
Yeah.
But watch changes. How do you, what is a good efficient watch change on some of the high-end programs that you've done where there's the
Yeah.
transfer of what just happened and where you want to go and what you want to do?
I think, I mean, having a watch system is really important, and I guess it's also understanding each other, like in the crew, who is a bit stronger one, you know? Like, if someone is really efficient at night, it might be good to have that person doing the really tough timing between, I don't know, like 3 o'clock in the morning to 6 a.m., you know, something like that. And sometimes you have people that really, really struggle to stay focused on that time of the day, night, whatever it be.
Yeah.
So really being open with your crew and understanding, like, okay, it's like 5 of us. How do we want to split this? And I think like a buddy system works pretty well most of the time if you have enough people in the crew where, you know, you have your watch buddy and you keep each other accountable. You know, it's not a bad thing. You know, if someone is tired, it's like, hey, I'm really here, like, just come and drive or come and trim, keep the boat going fast. Like, we are not superheroes. Actually, try to be the superhero. It sucks for performance. So like, just be honest with your crew and be like, hey, look, I'm really not finding the numbers. I'm not really able to push the boat. Can you try for half an hour? See if you can get into the loop. And we're doing it all the time. Like, it's really about collaborating and stay on top with like hydration and food. And it's too easy to just not eat anything or don't drink anything, and then at the end the brain is not working. Like, I really love Haribos and stuff, so it's like the pockets are always like
Just candy going in.
candy going in, like it's a sugar high. Between coffee and sugar, it's a big deal.
That's all you need.
Not healthy, but offshore racing is not really healthy anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, there's nothing good to come out of it.
There's not, yeah. I'm like,
And so, but how about so sail changes, right? You guys on the big boats, it's just rolling there on furloughs, no problem. But like, you know, in the Figaro, you actually have to do more sail changes, right? And
Yeah.
so this group here that has this short duration thing, you know, we might get lazy with the sail change, and so how do you stay on top of the inventory and just not getting caught lazy?
Again, I think it's preparation, like knowing where you will have which kind of sails, and also understand a bit like the risk reward. You know, like how long does it take to change a sail? For how long I'm gonna have that sails up? Is it worth it maybe to sail like for the next 10 minutes a different angle, and then do a longer peel? Like, I think it's a balance, especially if you are short-handed. The peels are pretty painful. So it's about strategy too, and understanding where do you want to switch sails or not. But, you know, sometimes you have to do it. You have to do it, and I think you just need to go with the mindset that you go for it and prepare. Like, the best thing you can have is everything already set up and prepared, ready to go. So then when you're like, okay, we're ready to peel, it's really fast, and you go back to speed pretty quickly. Like on the IMOCA, like, no matter if you are 4 on board or solo or double-handed, you know, peeling a sail is a big deal because you need to fully bear away the boat, like throw, deploy, coming up again. It's quite of a big deal. So if you can, you know, if you can be efficient and have all the sheets ready, all the stuff ready, everything plugged in, it's like one and go. That's probably the most efficient way you can do it.
All right, I couldn't imagine. Well, yeah. Any other advice? Anybody going doing the Mac race? Have a question for her on how to win the race?
Oh, I think I can learn from
one in the
this
back,
room
quick,
more
yeah.
than.
I thought you were asking how many people are doing the race.
All right, how many are doing the race? All right.
I have.
Oh, there you
Sounds
go.
like people.
You might be free that week. Yeah.
When
Are you
is
taking
that?
rides? Who's got the fastest boat here? All right, there you go.
Oh,
He's got the most comfortable boat.
Yeah, that might be the one you take.
that
Yeah.
might be the choice.
Yeah. I heard that the rear car would invite you to race Cal 25s and you gave her a hard pass. Yeah. Is that true? Or is that rumor? Yeah. Oh, she's busy. No, because she has places to go. So you're not racing.
I've been away from family for a while, and like I keep prioritizing boats over kids and family, and then maybe this time I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Coming. So yeah.
I'm coming. Okay, so what are you coming?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe next year for the nationals. When are your national championships?
Whole family.
The whole family.
Family's coming.
Well, I mean, watch out for what you're asking.
So yeah.
My daughter has a great life jacket.
This could be a pinnacle moment for the Cal 25 class.
It might be.
Because everyone's
It
gonna be
might
like,
be.
oh, now we got to get good because she's got Francesca.
Yeah.
So
Can't
all right.
hear yet.
The gauntlet is laid. So you do have to go home to Salt Lake. What's waiting for you there?
Weekend with the family, and then I have to go to Truckee for another event for 4 days, and then another day and a half at home, and then I go back to France. So it's great.
And yeah. So when your daughter and your wife Sally did, I met. Well, she's quite internationally traveled as well. She's got a lot
Yes.
going on. She's got some Olympic things going on.
Yes.
Is it sort of like, well, I got to run the Olympic team. You got the baby this week. Kind of like, and I got a great care. How do you deal with that part?
Sometimes there are moments where like, I'm gonna be on a transatlantic. You're going to be in Marseille for the Olympics. What is this little person doing? So I'm gonna take a flight to Wisconsin, drop. I mean, not literally drop, but like
Kind of, sort of drop.
gently drop my daughter
place, yeah.
to the grandma, and she's gonna be there for a few weeks in August, where Sally's at the Olympics. I'm doing the transatlantic, and then Sally go back to Wisconsin and pick her up and go from there.
Just go from there. God bless the grandmothers in the room. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's give it up for the
yeah.
grandmas, right?
And honestly,
Yeah.
also like a pretty cool kid. She's not a pain most of the time, so that helps.
She's she's nothing like you in that. Or is she like you in the athlete kind of driven? Because you see the drive in her.
She's gonna be whatever she wants to be.
That's awesome.
We are just trying to set her up for success, whatever she wants to do.
Very cool. All right, so the Barcelona. Let's bring it back to that. How can we follow you on the journey?
Again,
So how are we going to hear from you?
social media.
Social media. All right.
Follow on the social media.
So you're all over
my
the feeds.
comms, my comms director right now will be so proud of me. We're like, tell people where to follow you, like on the social media.
Click search. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Search me.
But yeah, honestly, I think the cup will be really well covered, and we are racing at the same times as the big cup. So when the big boat is racing in the afternoon, we might go in the morning, and vice versa. So it should be well covered.
And that'll be televised, right?
Yes.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay,
Yes.
Probably.
Yes, probably. Yes.
But it better be, because if it isn't, well, then.
It would
Yeah.
be nice if.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think social media overall is the best way to just follow the journey and the adventures. We really try to. I'm trying to get better. I have people behind me pushing me to be better. So like, hopefully it's getting together. Like, I'm not really a big, selfie, doing reels, videos
Yeah,
person.
me neither, but I'm learning. Yeah.
But I'm learning, and I'm trying to just be better.
Cool. All right. Well, so the best thing to do is just to follow you and demand more of it, and comment, and reach out, and tell you that we're always amazed at what you do, and proud of you for what you do. It's cool
Thank
stuff.
you.
So,
I appreciate the support.
yeah. So we'll do some Q&A, and we can keep Q&Ing as long as you want. Just got, I guess, at some point she's got to eat.
Can be breakfast at
yeah,
this point.
to first.
Yeah, it can be breakfast.
Yeah, where's
time,
the
I guess.
candy?
Close.
I was just wondering, have you had a sale on one of the 75s? And have you seen any tips that you can learn from the new technology, the new designs and so forth?
From the 75s.
Yeah.
I mean,
What's
So much
Yeah.
different.
what's the secret? What's going to win?
the secret juice. No. I mean, the 75s has been developed with the 40s. So like all the mechatronic that is on board the 75 has been developed with one of the 40s that has been put in non-one design mode. So they were testing everything pretty much on the 40s until the boat now it's on the water. So they are doing more testing with the 75. But the cyclors worked a lot to find the best ergonomics on the boat. Barcelona is going to be challenging. Like the temperature is going to in that time of the year is going to be really, really hot. And I mean, the cyclors are still human beings, even if they're considered batteries. But so trying to find the best way to also keep them performing well, keep the heat down, it's a massive challenge. The boat is, it's a carbon fiber box under the sun of Barcelona, so it doesn't, I don't think it's going to be pretty. So yeah, most of the design and the design of the foils and the sails are also being tested in just a scaled down version with the 40s. So if you go back in all the all the recons are public. So the ACE was organizing it, and it's a lot of cool data, cool things, because definitely the two boats were just sailing with also different setups in the sails, different skins on the main, and so yeah, I think the learning has been incredible from the 40s brought to the 75.
Where do you recruit the women in your team? Like, how do you get them in your team? And like, is there a process or?
Yeah, no, it's a great question because actually we're pretty proud of the process that we put together. So it was an open selection. So we built the best as we can, like the most open and really inclusive form that anybody could apply. So it was a Google form, and it was just shared on the social media and other platforms. It was international, and it was really like kind of open to everything. You can have people that are really comfortable like making a video and present themselves like that. Other people that are comfortable writing. Other people are comfortable in a different way. So we try to keep it as inclusive as possible. And we had 120 applications for the Ocean 50 project. So the first few weeks, it was actually really, really slow. And we're like, oh my God, like no one cares about this, or no one wants to do it. This is terrible. And I think it was just a matter, any application that you're doing, you try to make it good. So then in the last week, we just got like crazy. It was crazy. We were just getting like 10 applications every like half an hour. So then for us, the process to go through it, because we want to make it fair, not just skimming around resumes and stuff. So it was a pretty much day and night process going through every profile. And then we just created a lot of criteria, as it was based not only on performance. We didn't want to have like just a team of rock stars. It was more like a team of both experienced and less experienced to create more opportunities in the sport. And then potentially for next year, having the most experience doing something else, and the one that are building experience taking their spot or opening the selection again. So from 120 applicants, we had to get down to 12 for the in-person selection in France, and then we select 7. The idea was to select 6, and then at the end we end up with 7. So it was personally it was quite tough because we had so many good profiles. Some of the profiles that were not exactly aligned with kind of the job description, we tried to like put it all in a folder and send them to other organizations. Like we had, for example, a lot of profiles that were really about the super yacht industry. So we connected with other, with the super yacht industry and being like, hey, we have this incredible resume if you are looking for someone, like just to not throwing like applications for no reason. And the same for like more the sustainability side of it. We have a lot of applicants that were not even sailors, but they were really interested in the sustainability side of the project. So we just forward the CVs to 11 Hour Racing or to Mer Concept or to other, to the Ocean Race, and be like, these are profiles that they might not be sailors, but might be really interesting for the industry. So that's how we end up with the process. It's not perfect. It's not gonna be perfect, but we try our best.
So in the past, racing sailboats took a lot of muscle and strength and all that. It sounds like your boats are all push the button.
The 40 is definitely pushing the buttons.
So there's
Like I'm not going to the gym to go sailing. Feels good.
what is going to keep women from just getting to the top of the sport and even dominating men? Because it sounds like it's not a strength issue anymore. It's just how do we get the women the experience? Because certainly,
For me, it's really like getting the keys of the toys and be allowed to make mistakes without being judged. Like it's, Pete Burling win the Olympics in the 49er. The day after, he got to drive an AC boat, made mistakes, no question asked. Joe Ale win with the same medals, don't even get the chance to get to the boat. And most of the time, if you get the chance to get the boat and make a mistake, it's a woman, it's not, they're just not good enough. And that doesn't happen for the guys. So I think, I heard a lot of criticism about the Women's America's Cup, but it's not fully integrated and it's not the same thing. Fine, yes, I see the point about that. But I also see the point that we're gonna have our boat and we're gonna drive around at 40 knots on a floating boat and no question asked. And if we rip a jib, we're gonna rip a jib. The same as the guys are doing it. I think that's the biggest limitation that has been in the sport, is just not having and it's not even like the opportunity, Yes, women have more opportunities to just go and sail but not to go sail, be respected, not judge, and just push, keep pushing to get faster, to get better, So hopefully.
But I agree with you that starts with us. That starts with us as boat owners, as people who are sailing, to have a change in the mindset, to realize that you made mistakes at one point in your life, whether you were male or female or whatever, and encourage people that it's okay to make a mistake.
Correct.
And then once that happens, it will take off like a virus if people will just change their mindset. And we can
I
do
agree.
that. We can
There is no growing, there's no innovation without mistakes. I never heard about a project that
But it
with
does
innovation
start
that
with each sailing community, each
For
club,
sure.
to encourage that from the very top down.
Yes, I agree 100%. I've been lucky enough in my hometown that even if I was a girl in the club and I got people just let me sail, and let me drive boats, let me trim in sails, and that's why now I can drive boats, But that's also the big difference, because sometimes it's just,
But I like your
Like-
attitude. You're hard-headed.
yeah.
Yeah.
She is Italian, by the way. Yeah. But
I know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, you grow up with Italian grandma,
No matter what
try to
mindset.
survive.
Yeah.
Huh?
Most definitely. All right. Any other questions before we can wrap it up? Yeah. In the back. Oh, yeah. Actually, no. Front row.
So I'm wondering, what's your boat's name and how long you've been sailing on it?
My boat name,
Did you keep one? Do you own one boat?
I don't own a boat.
Oh.
But yeah, exactly. Someone owned it for me. So the Ocean 50, the project name is Upwind by Mer Concept and is supported by 11 Hour Racing. And actually, the proper name of the boat is like Kambawa or Kambawa. So
Kambawa.
That's the license name of it. That's kind of weird. We still
Do you know the backstory on it? Yeah, you're still
we don't
trying to
know
figure
yet.
that
I'm not sure exactly if I want to know, but So yeah, that's the name of our boat now. So on this Ocean 50, I've been just sailing for the last few months. It's a really, really recent project. And before that, I've been sailing on the IMOCA with 11-hour racing team for the ocean race. So that's been like a little bit more than a year and a half. Before that.
What was the name of that boat? So that would be your most recent like boat that you spent the most time on, yeah.
So it was Malama.
Which means?
For the health of the ocean, for the love of the ocean, something in Hawaiian. So when they had the two-boat project, it was Alakai and Malama. That is the two Hawaiian names that is all related for ocean health. So it's one is like for the health of the ocean, and the other one also, I think, is a similar name for it.
Malama, that's a nice name for your next boat. I like it. There you go.
We won the ocean race with that, so it might
So
be.
it's gonna be fast.
It might be fast. Yes. What are you sailing?
I'm sailing on Solution. And I'm gonna do the racing program.
The racing program? That's awesome. And you guys here are a pretty hard racing course, huh? With the current and everything. You're gonna learn a lot of things. It's gonna be great.
All right, have an awesome summer. Yes, to the back.
Let me know when you find the name for your boat.
Not a question, but a comment. I've had women clean my boats for 35 years. Anybody who doesn't is an idiot because some of them are really, really good sailors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ray, this guy, Ray,
That's the word is like good sailors, period. It doesn't matter what side. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Ray takes a lot of women on his boat. You know, there's a few of us out here who've been doing this for quite a long time.
Awesome stuff.
It's actually, honestly, it's really refreshing to see like a lot of women in the club, a lot of sailors, like we're getting there.
We've got 3 women on J111.
Yeah, it's getting there. In the
Yeah.
Ocean 50, we are the only all-female team, but other teams has also like one female sailor on board, and like it's moving to the right direction. You know, I think sometimes we all put the subject in a really negative way, and it's also positive to like just look around and see what is changing in a good way. There's still a lot of things to do, but at the same time, you know, it's 2024, and hopefully things are moving quickly. I don't know, and with the help of the media, with the help of
Social
storytelling,
media. Yeah.
social media, and no, it's important. You build profiles, you build characters. People fall in love with not just the sport, but with the people that are sailing the boats, and it's the power of what you're doing, storytelling.
Yeah, but that was also the power of Cole Brower. I'm sure most people here know. Like that was like she
Yeah.
got people to love her and to follow her, which is really cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we need more of that. Yeah, just loving the sport and loving the people that are doing the sport.
All right, awesome. We could keep her here all night, but we'll keep her here in the club a little bit longer.
Yeah,
Until
no,
Sarah
I'm gonna
takes
be
her
here.
home, to go home to the family and have fun. So,
Yeah.
thank you, Francesca, for
My-
stopping
My, yeah. She's in college now. She's not a toddler.
Does she have a license?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I've been away for so long. She's not a toddler anymore.
But yeah, thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for
No,
coming
thank
here
you. I
and taking the
appreciate
time
it.
out.